everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today we are going to be painting this gorgeous mermaid. I'm so excited about her because it's been a minute since we did a mermaid on the channel, and it was about time we had a more beginner mermaid, I think. To help me do this today is my husband, John.
Hello.
I'm going to explain this lesson step by step. I'm going to tell you about the color mixes. I'm going to show you the techniques. We're going to go through this stroke by stroke. I'm going to do a thing, you're going to do a thing, I'm going to do a thing, you're going to do a thing, and at the end, we're both going to have a mermaid painting. Put this to the side. There you go. If you're not ready to draw, that's okay. We have wonderful resources on our website, including traceables, so you can just transfer the image on. I am going to freehand her today.
Yep.
I thought it's been a little while since we've done that on the channel, and I thought I was kind of excited to do that. It was me saying hi on both Facebook and YouTube before the show. I know sometimes when you see the account say hi, you're like, is it her? It is. Check for the spelling errors. That's how you can always know. If the grammar gets good, I would be suspicious. That or a new grammatical spelling bot comes in. That could help me a bit. But right now, punctuation, capitalization, spelling, it's me.
You teach art, not
I teach
grammars.
art, definitely too much the happiness of every English teacher everywhere.
No maths either.
No maths. There are no maths. So you can watch the stream from wherever you are having the best connection, and I highly recommend that. I've got a 9x12 canvas today, and we have a 9x12 for the simple reason is if you'll notice that's what fits in the screen.
We can, yeah.
That's
it's
kind of
good
the size.
It's a good size.
It goes to 12
It's
here. That's it.
Sized.
That's the size, and so we're doing that. I have a wet palette out, but you could use anything that you needed to put your paint on. I do try to tell you guys what I'm using. It doesn't obligate you to buy it, though. It's just information for you to take as a student. We're going to begin the class. The colors are in the description, and those are the colors for today's class. But we're going to start this with our wonderful ocean plan. So that's going to be phthalo green, a little phthalo blue for the sea, under the sea, for you, for your wonderful day to relax and have a good time. Of course, we couldn't get a painting done without our handy-dandy white.
Ooh.
Handy-dandy. Look at
Which
this
one is
tube
that?
of white. Look at this giant tube of white.
And that's titanium white.
Oh, the titanium. I'm actually almost out of it. I'm going to have to get new white.
And it's different than zinc white because zinc is transparent and titanium
Oh, this is funny. You can see this is my old hair because it's all pink and I've changed my hair. When you have little clues that it's an old hair, and I'm going to put this on here. I've had a bunch of questions about the golden glazing liquid that is listed in the descriptions. This is really essential if you're having any trouble getting any blending or brushability on this. This is designed to improve how your brush flows through the paint. It reduces the drag. It allows you to glaze. That means add a little bit of paint to this to create thin, transparent stuff. It has an open time of 45 minutes. And what that means is that slows the drying time down. So this pure product here is not dry for 45 minutes, which is why we don't do it in thick applications. And so it's really great for blending, or if you're in conditions that are just accelerating the drying time, it can give you that little extra bit of time. As you add acrylic, the acrylic speeds up the drying of this product. But unlike regular slow drying agents, this is very beginner friendly. The stuff that is a slow drying agent, that's the super professional stuff, dude, it's barely professional friendly. I mean, it is just you got to get familiar with it, you know? So that's why I recommend that exact product. You don't have to use it. Sometimes I just tell you everything I've got, and then you just use what you need, if that makes sense.
It does.
All right. So we are going to do this in steps. We are going to timestamp the lesson so you can find your place again really easily. There will be a mini book released 7 to 10 days after the show. Let's go over it again. 9x12, titanium white, phthalo green, phthalo blue, cad yellow medium, and a little glazing medium. Step 1, we've got to do the ocean. So if you ever saw the very old secret video, how to paint underwater, which everyone thought I meant how to paint underwater for reasons that I don't quite understand. They thought I got like a snorkel and went to paint some underwater stuff. It's not. It's just how to paint underwater things. We talk about the drop-off point of light. And what I like to do to kind of improve that is I'm going to get a little glazing medium on here just because I'm having dry conditions today. And I'm going to add a little white paint to my brush. And I'm going to preload with the white because I need my first layer to be pretty light. You can still use water with these products. And I'm going to go across the top of my canvas. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to do is make sure that as I put my light blue in, I can control the lightness to the top. The color of the ocean is a little phthalo blue and a little phthalo green, right? Little phthalo blue and a little phthalo green. You just get your nice little aqua color. At the top, it's a little more,
Now,
a
could
little more
you
yellow.
gouache this technique?
Yes, gouache does many of the same techniques. In fact, if you are really enjoying acrylic, but for whatever reason have to go to another medium, like I know some people have allergies to acrylic paint, gouache is a great alternative to oils. And there's now even some very good tutorials out there that I have seen on gouache. You guys see how nice and light and aqua that is? The other thing I'm doing is I'm curving the stroke. See the stroke curving? And I'm just brushing that out. As I'm brushing the paint out of my brush, my pressure can get firmer, but that's a very good beginning. I'm going to come forward and get a little more phthalo blue and phthalo green together. And I'll add some white to it, but it's a darker color. And I'll brush this back up.
Oh, yeah.
And this is creating that effect of both the lensing that you see in the water and the gradation going down. When you're very new to painting, you might have trouble gradating your ocean. It's not uncommon. You are not alone. Because you can have a lot of things that are throwing you off. The load of your brush, the surface of your canvas, and how quickly your paint is drying on you. If you're having a really hard time and you're getting stripes, you may find that it takes the second or third try to get the effect. Don't feel like you're weird. It's completely normal. Normal part of growing up as an artist. As I go down the ocean, right, I'm going to get more blue. We get a little more blue, and we get a slightly darker color.
So this is a really good question, and it kind of goes to the heart of
it.
Some of the beginning questions around paint and color.
Yes.
So could I go out and just buy some paint, then mix that paint to the colors I want, and then once I had those, use those to mix the other colors I wanted?
Well, two things. The reason I don't do all my lessons in primaries is it's much harder for beginners to do primaries than you think. You can use primaries to mix most colors. If you have a lot of questions about color, though, that might not be the moment to do it. Because there's little hidden biases in colors, right? That's just like a hidden color in there. And so when you're painting with those primaries, I'm going to continue to be dark as I go down. You could have a bias in there, not know it, and never be able to get a bright green.
Gotcha.
And think you can't mix colors. You can, you just don't know a little bit. I'm going to teach some primary mixing series, but they're a little more advanced. You think they would be. You think it would be the opposite, but it actually is.
One of the things that's interesting is while you can mix any color, you're not mixing the pigment. And pigments react differently when mixed together than colors do. So it's a complicated thing.
But it's a good question to ask
really
because
is.
It seems so reasonable, doesn't it?
It does.
As I go down, I just continue to darken into the blue, continue to curve, because, underwater.
Here's another lighter weight question.
Lighter questions?
That funny word gouache.
Gouache.
What is that?
Gouache is a pigment in a gum arabic binder. It isn't watercolor, though. It's very opaque, and you paint it in an opaque layering method. It looks a lot like posters. Remember those old-timey posters? It's that sort of smooth application. It's what they used to do for that look. You can use it with watercolor. Acrylic gouache, to me, is just acrylic paint that's very matte. Gouache should be activatable with water even after it's dry, whereas acrylic really is not.
And gouache is very much like a watercolor with talc in it that makes it, or chalk to make it very opaque. But that's also what gives it its characteristic chalky, opaque, matte color.
All right. You can see I'm just here doing this. And even in this, when you paint along with me, you can see that having a little bit of this medium in there opened, lengthened, increased the drying time of what I'm doing, right? This is just super duper wonderful. I'm going to dry this, and we're going to go on to step 2. Choo, choo, choo.
All right.
Choo, choo, choo. Are you ready for 2?
You dry first, and then we'll
you
come back.
You've got this.
While she's drying that, I've got a little secret message I can put up here. Let me see if I can find it before she gets back too quickly. Do. Here it is. If you would like to get text message notification, stay back up there. I want her to disappear. Then, there you go. If you would like to get text message notifications, send the message, all one word, the Art Sherpa. That's our secret keyword. And then you send that to the number 33222, and you will get included in there. I will unmute you now.
And
You can talk to them. Then
so,
I will give them
I saw some good questions. Can we use a different size canvas? You can always use a different size canvas. That's always okay. And Shelly Callahan asked a very good question. Can you mix like apple barrel, those are the craft bottle paints, with higher pigmented acrylic? Yes. Unless there's something substantially unusual in the formulation of the acrylic product that you're using. Sometimes PBO, which is a really amazing experimental paint company, they could have some stuff that does not intermix well. Golden could. But for the most part, for straight pigments, any acrylic mixes with any acrylic, with a few exceptions. And the bottles will always tell you if they're the exception, because manufacturers will tell you that you're using something weird. You should always read your bottles and your tubes and your anything you can find online. It's just really, really good. When you get a chance, my dove, if
Are you ready?
Could,
I will.
microwave my coffee.
Are you step ready?
I'm step ready, though.
Step ready. Step 2 for all of you.
So this is the step that if you want to do any adjustments up here, that's a good idea to do it. I'm going to do a fun little thing. I'm going to take a fan brush. This is actually, I'll use the Art Sherpa fan brush because you can't even get these fan brushes online anymore. I'm going to use an Art Sherpa number 4 fan brush. It just has a firmer filament. And we're going to make some little glazing radials out for some light coming down. It's just a fun little touch. This is what I would call an optional thing. I'm going to load my brush up with some glazing medium and a little of my white acrylic just so that it has a nice flow and is transparent. I'm going to go to this. Oftentimes in a painting, there are things that are optional, not necessary, not required, but that you can do and can be nice. So I'm kind of got it loaded like this. And at first I'm going to come down and I'm going to just give myself some little light radials out. I'm on the edge of the fan brush, right? That's on the razor's edge of the filaments to sort of give myself a guide for how my light's going to go. And then when I have that, I can brush down on the flat of the brush. Sometimes a guide helps you. This is just that light of the water coming down. The reason I like to use the glazing medium is I don't want real thick applications of white.
Yeah.
You could dry brush this. You could thin it with water so you don't have what I have. Don't let that be a stopping point. There's always another way to do a technique. There's never just one way. And I kind of like this. It just gives it just a little bit of that mermaided out moment, right? She's coming up into the light.
I have to say, I was watching some underwater footage of jellyfish here. It's actually the man of war.
Oh, they're so pretty.
And I have to say, the footage that they're getting underwater is so amazing.
It really is.
It's just beautiful.
If you're just feeling overwhelmed by life right now, besides painting videos, you might want to try some of the underwater nature shows. Not Shark Week. That's not a calm week. But any of the sort of undersea, happy, corally, follow a manatee, follow jellyfish kind of videos that are out there. There's a lot of them that are in selection, and I highly recommend them. So now I've created a nice little glazing halo of light that can come down through the water. So that's sort of fun. You can use any fan brush that you have. You can use any square brush that you have. So far we've used a number 4 fan and a number 26 bright. Bright is a square brush with square filaments, and the fan is a little fanned out brush. Okay. So this is a step, John.
All right.
That's a step.
We can step.
Can you believe it's a step?
No. We step so fast.
You step so fast?
You step
Oh,
fast.
Fiona, thank you for the stars. I really appreciate that. If ever we miss stars or super chat, don't worry. The dashboard lets us know that you guys have supported us, so it does not go unknown. It goes known, and it's always appreciated. Thank you so much. It's a nice day to paint, isn't it? Okay, I will. Guess what? I forgot to draw it before the step.
You did. So you know what I'm going to do while you're out there?
You're going to explain about the mini books while we hold step 3 and I dry it?
I'll do that. So guys, if you would like to find our mini book, and the mini book is, you see we're taking these steps, and after the show, our team of gnomes, they come together and they put all the information from the show into a book, along with the pictures that we take at the steps, and turn them into mini books that you can download to help you on your educational journey. So that if you need more than just the video, there's also the traceable, your reference image, and this mini book that has all the steps and explains what you might need and have good reference materials to help you along the way. So we provide that in the link in the description down below, or on our website, theartsherpa.com. It's always out there. As always, thank you guys for joining us. We really like seeing you. I've got my I'm going to go out there and take a look. Make sure someone says, I have a black screen. Okay, I see everybody on YouTube. And do I see all the Facebook peoples? I think, yep. Okay, I see Facebook people. If you can't hear me, then you should hit refresh. See, that's going to fix everything. I'm so good at tech support. If you can't hear me, you should refresh, and that will solve the problem. But if not, for all those who can hear me, well, see, you don't have a problem. And
Just not wanting. So the reason it's very slow to dry is that glazing medium. Even with a hairdryer, it's just very slow to tack dry. And I may still have to sketch some of this out with paint, or you will be watching me dry for 10 minutes.
All right.
So that's where we're at now.
Do you need to dry more?
It could be like a long time.
You could have a long dry.
Can I have a long dry? Do you guys mind and indulge me in a long dry?
Indulge you in I guess we can indulge you. She's going to have a long dry. While she has a long dry, I'll tell you about heat. Oh, no, you've heard all about heat before. In case you haven't, here's the news on heat. Don't use it. It makes your paint do not nice things like color shift, and sometimes it can get chalky and it gets sticky. And that's a problem because when you're painting with it subsequent layers, the wet paint will peel up that layer or cause funny drag issues. So it's best not to use heat and to make it thoroughly dry, which is what she's worried about. Because if it's not thoroughly dry, you have that same lifting problem. You probably heard her say the paint will lift. And what that means is the wet paint pulls up the stuff. Ken was asking, who types up those mini books? We have a team of people who does it. So my mom, Linda, you've seen her in chat, Donna, Karen, Laura, we have a whole group of people behind the scenes who make those mini books possible. They're really amazing, and we'll make sure in the mini book we put a little credit in there for all the teams so you guys can see who makes that possible.
It does. It takes a lot of people.
So, all right, are you ready to move on?
It is not easy to do this. The mission of teaching art for free becomes bigger and bigger by the minute. I am ready to move on.
Okay, we are into the step.
So some of you guys noticed that I changed my hair and it's not pink and purple. It's actually rainbow. It goes right into purples and pinks in the back. I'm finally past my COVID hair. That's what it was.
This is your...
All right.
The new do.
So once it's all cool and completely dry, you can use a sketching tool. This is chalk. These are chalk pastel pencils. You could just use regular kids' chalk. You just want something that you can see. And sometimes on here I need to use a dark where she's going to be too light for you guys to see. I will use something you can see and then I'll change to white. I'm doing these 2 colors so that you can see it at home, but you don't need to do that. Now, I want at least a couple inches up top, right, for her hair to flow around. So I've given myself a breaking line. Whenever you're doing something in your world and you're trying to figure out where to put something on the canvas, don't forget to give yourself a reminder to break. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ashley. Ashley, thank you. I really appreciate that. Considering I just stole from my retreat kit for some black paint, could not have come sooner.
You're like, I need paint. You know what?
I did. I was
So-
like out of black, and I want a new black. I am going to make. I'll let you guys know the sizing. I just want to get it placed in. So I put in the basic head shape up top, and I'll give you the measurements. If you want a freehand, if you don't want a freehand, by all means use the traceable. And I'm using the red just so you can see what I'm doing. Right? That's a nice little head shape. And then I like to make sure that I talk about the gesture, so I'll bring this down. I give myself that little guiding S-line so that her body had a little bit of curve to it. And bring the neck down. It's okay for the neck to be a little extra long because this is a stylized piece, right? I'm also going to remind myself just a little something if you're wondering. When you divide a face in half, and you divide it in half again from the top and bottom, that is how you figure out where to place the eyes. Right? And then the ears always have to line up where they would hold the glasses for the eyes. So if you had ears, we don't have ears, but that's how you would do that. That's how that's done. And then halfway between the eyes and the chin is a nose, and then halfway between the chin and the nose, halfway between the chin and the nose is the mouth. That's kind of how you figure out where in the world those features would go. Just generally, it's sort of like face math.
Picasso had some trouble.
No, Picasso had no trouble. Picasso had a mastery of realism at a very young age, actually. When people are like, he couldn't even paint. No, he really could throw down.
He has the nose on the side where the ear goes, though, in some.
Now, I'm going to give myself a little reminder of some bubbas, but we're going to have hair over them.
Oh.
My youngest was so concerned that I wasn't going to cover her up modestly. It was very funny when I was going through this, but the hair is going to go over it. But I find that 2 little circles does help me.
Referentially,
remember. And then I like to definitely give myself a remembrance of some hips. So I come down here, and I'm going to come out for the tail. And then again, we're going to cover up our other arm with hair. If you are at all concerned about doing the arm that's akimbo there on the hip, just make it all hair. Don't even make yourself miserable. It's completely okay.
You can hide the appendages in hair, and they will not know.
And they will not know. And then little tail is going to come up. A very long tail today. That's how that works. Come up here. And her tail will kind of go over herself. So there's a little bit of layering there. I'm going to give myself a little ball here for the shoulder. It's just going to help me remember where things are. If you guys remember how it works, the elbow's got to bend in like a line with that hip, so it lets you know where your elbow has to go. And to do the weird cool hand thing, all right, I've got to bring a little paddle up here. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that so much. It's like the paddle, right? And then we have this little hand in it. We're going to be able to see everything from the knuckle. So that's how we're going to get that nice little hand that's bent over. And again, if this seems stressful, it's all hair. Just all hair. If it doesn't seem fun to do, let it just all be hair. But if you wanted to know how to do that, that's how you do that. And again, remember, we're going to have hair over her so she's modest. If you're going to put her in group and you didn't do hair over her so she's modest, add a sticker to your post so we can approve it, because we always use a glam shell for modesty hair in group, because we have all ages, so we just kind of have that. So if you decide to have a very brave and open mermaid, that is cool. Just put a sticker on her for group. There we go. That is that, and that's all you've got to do to get her into there.
All right.
That's not bad, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. She's going to look really good. I think I actually even did her better this time. Okay.
So
every time you do something, it's a step.
And we're ready to go on.
And it doesn't even need to be dried.
Just photoed.
It doesn't even need to be dried. Oh, I'm going to have fun with her hair today. So while he's doing that, I'm going to talk to you about a really cool product. To get this really bright pink on her, I used a neon product. Now, neon colors are fugitive colors. Sennelier is absolutely reformulating some of its opera colors so they're less fugitive and also Holbein. So if you're doing any neons and you want them to last a little bit longer, do switch it up to one of those two things so you get a little more longevity out of that. Yay! We're going to paint some more mermaid. Okay, now I'm going to put out Cad Red. Yeah, Cad Red. Come on, Cad Red. Come be with me. Little Cad Red. A little magenta. Quinacridone magenta, that is. These are wonderful colors. I've got a little yellow out there. Let me put more out. Sometimes it's nice to have a little burnt sienna on the palette to help tone the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even do skin, like, believe it or not, with a little burnt sienna and white. I gotta do a new skin tone video that has more like easy mixes with like a little formula of just simple. Caps go on paint tubes and do what they're told. Now, I'm not gonna worry too much about the purple or black yet. Well, maybe I'll put some black out, but I'm gonna wait on the purple because it's just on the eyelids and there's no point in drying out a bunch of purple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna put it on an eyelid. That seems like completely pointless, right? All right, so I'm gonna grab my round number 4. This is an Art Sherpa round. I like this brush. I designed it the way I like it. Makes me happy. You can get a completely different round brush. I'm gonna get it wet. And I'm gonna kind of start in with my skin tone. So I'm gonna take a little of my white and just a smidge of my Cad Red. I'm gonna just do the simplest. I have a video on skin tones and you can absolutely paint your mermaid to reflect you or the mermaid in your life. And I highly recommend that. Thank you, Sandy. I'm just pulling it out. I'm trying to give myself a nice amount of it so I don't have to come in and get more and more and more skin tone. All right, so it's just a pinky pink. And paint everything in. I don't have to worry about her ears. I was just telling you a thing. And this first layer really is just to cover the blue underneath. If you have very inexpensive paint, you may find coverage is of great difficulty for you. Just dry thoroughly between layers and add 2 or 3 layers as needed. I'm just painting all this in. Just a nice solid color. It's going to need 2 coats. So we're going to do 2 coats in this step, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm putting hair over her shoulder. Sometimes it's nice to see how the shape goes. I was watching some strange movie. I don't even know what it was. And they just lit the actress really well. And I was like completely obsessed with the reflection on her shoulder. I like literally lost track of what was going on in the movie. I was like, wow, she's really well lit. Like, oh my goodness, I need to get some help. I'm not going to worry about the thumb until the end. I'm going to use a small detail brush for that. I'm just getting basic shape. This basic shape. Again, we're going to do hair. So we're not that worried, are we? No, we're not. How long has it been since everybody's done a mermaid?
I don't know. When was the last mermaid we did?
When is the last mermaid you guys have done? Is this your first mermaid? Cad Red and titanium white for the skin. And sometimes it could be your first mermaid. I don't want to assume. Now, for the tail.
What does fugitive colors mean?
It means the colors fade and run away from your canvas and become invisible. I'm going to take. They're fugitive. They escape, as Dora would say. You gotta love Dora. All right. Here at the tail, I'm going to kind of add my little pinks, which is my magenta and my Cad Red. point. I'll come under the hand here. This is, again, layer 1. I could use a bigger brush to speed up this process, but this is in my hand, and so that's what we're doing.
Mm.
Now here at the hip, I will kind of make this a little bit of regular and blend it in. It's pretty. So, yeah, anything you paint with neons, and if the neons are really, really inexpensive, they'll fade out in 3 to 5 years. Fade out doesn't mean that the color completely disappears. It's just not as vibrant. Now, in some cases, it does completely disappear. A lot of Van Gogh's paintings were different colors when they started. Like, they weren't white roses. It's just how it came out. So, fugitive means that can go away entirely over time. So, if I was just doing a neon painting for recreation, I wouldn't worry about it. If I was doing it to really enjoy for a long period of time, I would invest in the Holbein fluoro paints. Because they're like 15 years. They really stabilize them. And I would probably do a UV protectant varnish to also prevent me. See, we've got a nice little fade down. And just not the tail yet, but just the bottom of this. So don't do the fins. We're just getting a layer. Now, we dry this. We do second layer, and she will look very nice.
All right.
And then we can do some shading on the second layer.
And while she's drying that, you guys can check all in the link in the description down below to find all of the stuff, like our website, the traceable, the reference image there. All that stuff is down there. And oh, well, thank you guys. I see some of this is the first mermaid for some of you. There are those. And first mermaid is an important mermaid. I think there's been a lot of mermaids here. We've done a few, and merfolk. There are other underwater aquatic creatures that we have done and endeavored to do. Sharks keep popping up underwater, which they tend to do. I have a thing about sharks. They're never where you expect them to be, but always where the seals are.
All right. So here we go.
Oh,
what?
So they were like, we can't see the bottom of the reference image. But interestingly enough, you do see the bottom of the reference image.
Yeah.
Because her tail is cut off on it.
It's off the canvas.
See?
I felt like I was being clever. See?
So I understand why the thought was they're like, it just chops off the screen, and it conveniently does. That's what she was doing.
It's the effect. It was the look we were going for. Cinnamon, do you still have the most difficult painting that you've done? Yeah, I would say that was the World of Warcraft one. For Play Live. That was the first Play Live we did.
That one was good.
That was probably just really an interesting and challenging one. And then after that, it's the Red Fox Girl, which I'm still working on. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add a little of my brown to my skin tone. I have that. And I'm going to kind of come under my little bosoms here and give a little shading, as you do. As you do. And I can come under my arm a little bit and add a little shading. Maybe a little forward on the fingers here. Just generally at the knuckles, if you guys can see that. It's just little things that you can do. I'm going to come under the jaw a little bit. And then I'm going to come down the neck a little bit. All the shading I've got to do there like that. I'm going to rinse out and back into my skin tone, which was just Cad Red and Titanium White. And you'll see very quickly that the second coat really gets us there. I could have broken this up into 2 steps, but it's just good to know that it really is, you've got to do 2 coats. I'm painting with very pigmented paints, and I'm still going to want to do 2 coats. if you're painting with craft paints or student paints, you do want to do 2 coats. And if your painting isn't looking right, it's important to know that it's just coverage. And you can see that second coat really changes the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while I'm here,
While you're here.
I am going to take a small detail brush. Let's take, I'm going to take my #1 monogram liner that I always sign everything with.
Mm-hmm.
I might even add a little black to all this because I need a dark color that I'm going to put my thumb up over. So here on my little hand, I definitely want to talk about a little thumb coming off. And again, if the hand is making you unhappy, it's okay. You don't have to do it. Just put hair over it. We'll be bringing some of her scales up.
Mm-hmm.
For right now, we just want to get a nice coverage on where her somewhat skin tone is. Just a little coverage. So we're not seeing the blue. And again, we're going to have hair
Mm-hmm.
right over everything. So that's okay. I always come in and just make sure my shadows look good. That looks pretty good. I'll use a bigger brush this time so we don't have to wait so long for me to paint the whole tail. I'm going to grab a 1/2" angle brush just because it's a good size, not because this is the brush you have to use for this technique. You just want one that doesn't make you work so hard. And this time I might add just a smidge of white to the mix, so it's just a little more pink, see? Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
And then on any angle brush, if you do have an angle brush, you can always come up and add like little dots for open scales. Paint it out her thumb. Turn it. I will fix it in a minute. I'm going to turn this aside just to give myself a nice line.
Okay.
I'll dip in water to improve my flow. You can see I've given her a nice little joining of fishtail to her mermaid body. And again, I freehanded this, and your traceable is based on the original. There we go. So it's looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And her tail is coming off the canvas. This is where that goes. It's very long. She's mostly tail and hair and tail. A little more white into that. Okay. So now I'm going to dry this, and then we'll come back for the next step.
Okay. That's funny. What hoot level is this? Well, I think I'll have to ask her when she gets back, but I'm pretty sure this is a lower hoot level painting. And one of the things that helps you know that is that the hands can be hidden easily, and there's a lot, the hair makes it so that you can hide a lot of the mistakes that may happen when you're doing your figure painting. So that tends to make this an easier painting. So on our hoot level of 1 to 3, what would you, 2?
2.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of hair.
There is a lot of hair. That is some forgiving.
There's so much hair.
I'm going to take a picture.
You got to take a picture for the step-by-step book. I got some coffee, so I have energy to do this. Oh my goodness. It is so good to see everyone today. I'm very excited to have you here. It's always great to share these painting lessons with you because I know it's so much fun to do. Now I'm going to use again a detail brush. You just want a small, like little micro detail brush, something around these size ranges. This one doesn't look so fluffy when it's wet. See? So it's just a very tiny one. I'll just use this fluffy one. This is just a #1 detail from the Art Sherpa line. You can use any #1 detail that you find. I am not particular. You guys remember what we said about the line? And you can draw this back in with chalk about halfway between the top and the bottom. Mm-hmm. The other thing to remember, I'm going to make like a little downward little line. Whoop! I love doing these. Is there's about an eye between the eyes. So whatever size you make your eye, you want at least that distance between your two eyes. I come in, I kind of curve down, and then I go back up. I'll put lashes and things there in a second. I just want to have that there. Her eyebrows are purple, so I'm not going to worry about putting those in until I have purple. Under the nose, so halfway between where the eyes are and the chin, at least, we're going to put in a little nose. It's just a little mark. Not super serious there. Just a little mark. I'm going to actually do some tricks. You can even come down and kind of give it a little shadow, like the nose is casting a little shadow. Who knew that was this much fun?
Who knew?
Now I'm going to take a little bit of my red and magenta together, make, like kind of one of my darker colors of those two. And then again, halfway between the nose and the chin is where the lips go. And this is going to be, I'm going to put the top of my lip here. I just swing up and down. Okay. Swing up and down. It's a very simplified lip. I'm going to add a little white to my paint. Improve the flow if I need to. And underneath, not all the way to the edge here, I'm going to start in a little bit. I'm going to make the lower lip. So that's what I'm doing for the lips. I'll go ahead and put that purple out now since we are in the face business. Doc's purple can come out. And it's also how we do her freckles. So, gotta get that in. I will come in and kind of, let's add a little white to our Doc's purple. I find that it's easy to see the purple when you add white. It looks like black until you do. I'm going to come up and add a little bit of color to her lids above the black. Again, this is done because the paint flows off my brush easily, and I have a teeny tiny brush. When I have the two purples like that, I'm going to wipe off my brush here and get a little more. I haven't rinsed though. Did you guys notice? Mm-hmm. I put a little more white on my brush to lighten it, and then I can come in on the inside corners. Kind of shade her little lids. I know, silly, but I'll do it. You guys have been painting owls with me. You've seen this a lot. You're like, man, this woman really likes to shade a thing. It's a good time to shape anything you want. Like if you want to make a bigger or lower lip, this is the time to do it. If you want to adjust the upper lip. Here's the thing about detail brushes. They have hidden drops of water. You have to watch for them all the time. They get hidden on the handles, and then they want to drop down on your painting when you least expect it. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get a very light color. It's okay if a little of the magenta gets into it, but it has to be lighter than the skin tone. I'm going to come above the nose. Add a little bit of that above the nose. Sometimes I come in and put a little on the thing here. So just some. I will get a slightly darker skin tone. Maybe even a little darker than that. It just kind of noticeably comes above the eyes. I'm going to come here and do that above the eyes. Isn't that fun?
It is.
It's a little bit of fun. Just simple stuff. When I want to do freckles, I'm going to take a little bit of the purple, and here's the trick. I'm going to come. You don't have to do the freckles. I just really like the freckles, and freckles are big right now.
They go in and out of fashion.
They go in and out. Well, they were never in fashion when I was a kid. I never heard of anybody who thought freckles were in fashion when I was a kid.
I like
this
freckles.
Is new.
It was something I sought out.
Just you were alone, man. Just a few little freckles across the face, big and small dots. If you feel like you have too many, you can always reduce them with skin tone. You can make some of them lighter, which sometimes also helps.
Just needs a little base.
Well, because freckles have different tonalities as well. So you can play with those freckles as much as you want. Then I'm going to take a little of my white and just make a little bit of a reflection on her lip. Just a little. And a little bit on the nose too. That's there. Rinse out. I'm going to load some of my black on my teeny tiny brush. Come underneath and reline the eye. And just very carefully brush out little curved lines that are the lashes. I know, lashes can be a challenge. I'm going to turn my canvas to the side so that I'm doing my brush stroke to what the easiest side is for me. And the lesson there is, guys, is that you may have a side that you can do a good curve stroke to and a side that you can't. Listen to yourself and just set yourself up to win. Curve to the side that works. Oh, she's looking good, isn't she? She's looking so good. Purple eyebrows. Now remember, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Whatever that means. But it's true. I watch makeup channels. I'm going to come here and press a little harder. Come over on a curve. Release the stroke. Eyebrow. I'm going to come here. The eyebrow lines up with the inside of the eye. She got eyebrows. Many, many, many times people want to open the eyes, and that's okay. I've designed her with closed eyes. I'm not going to be offended if you open up her eyes. Just realize that you've opened up her eyes. And the reason I say that is because so many people paint her eyes open and not realize that they were closed, and they put the eye in the closed position.
Oh.
There you go. All my little touches. I think that's beautiful. Nice little happy folk art face. Okay, that's a step. I don't even need to dry it. We're going to come back.
We can do that.
I'm so glad you guys are liking the face. Is my light overhead or side? Well, in the ocean, your light is generally overhead, but in this, I kind of focused her light from the side. And the clue, and again, that's decoratively, because I imagined my mermaid. But you can kind of tell that because the shadow comes here to the curve of the neck that way, and the shadow is on the inside of the arm. So wherever the shadows are, the light source tends to be strong, the opposite end of that. Not always, but most often. And then we know, obviously, that she's light coming in from the top, but we're not really worrying about that quite as much as we might. Now I'm going to take my nice little detail brush again. I'll use the same one that I did her face with, so I'm not changing it up on you. And I'm going to fix her little hand. And come here. Let's paint the top of her hand again. Make sure we've got a nice positioning. And then I'm going to come off with a little thumb. Now I like to add a little reflection at the elbow. Add a little reflection. Oh, I need more reflection than that. A little reflection at the wrist. right? That's just where a little light catches it.
Mm-hmm.
You can come across the knuckles. Right? A little reflection at the knuckle. I did because I wanted to mess with myself, give her pink nails. I'll do it again because I was like, how can I just mess with myself? And how I separate up the fingers is I'm going to take a little bit of the brown and the black, and I'm going to thin it a good bit, and I'm going to put this on, you know, a nice thin brush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come here and just very carefully try to do a light line that divides the fingers. I can always put them back in if I lose them. Remember, the center finger is the longest. It's shortest at, I've got to shorten that finger. You can say I just paint it back if I need to shorten it. So you want your hand kind of diamond out like this. It's a decorative hand. It's not a serious hand, guys. It's just a decorative little hand. And then, you know, to make myself like crazy, I'm going to come here and add little nails. There we go. I decided to be fussy. So that's how I want to get that in. It's a good time to make any adjustments if you're like, man, see, the little hidden drop got me, didn't it?
Yeah. Welcome to all of our Emoji Club new members.
Thank you, new Emoji Club members. I so appreciate the support, and also enjoy your emojis.
Mm-hmm.
And your occasional weird post in the community tab. All right, there you go. You just fix that up as you see fit. I'm going to take, we can make that a step because that's a weird, fussy little bit. And then I'll come back and do the tail. Let's call the hand a step because that's a weird, fussy little bit. And that might have been the first time you've seen that concept. And even though it's a simplified hand, hands are complicated. We did like a week of hands in the Patreon group, and what we came away with, or maybe it was like a month. I don't know. It was a minute. We were like, hands are complicated. I even had my daughter come in and give a hand class because she does hands and hands and hands in her notebooks. It was really fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait. Oh, Cinnamon's light source in the studio. I have lights everywhere. That's my light source in the studio. Everywhere. Behind me, around me, overhead me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lights everywhere.
When you finally put in enough lights into your studio, you realize that the thing that you can glam out is your office, but not your filming space. Things I've learned along the way.
The ceiling is full of lights.
Sets are not glamorous. They're functional. So the studio, my stuff is, doing that. All right. So to do a tail, let's do the tail. Did we get our step up?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a picture. Okay. We're going to start out, and I'm going to take my magenta and some of my CAD red. I've got my number 4 round, and we're going to tap up and down a little bit of this is my scale texture, right? Scale texture, it's little dots, little rough kind of patches. And we're going to come here. When you come towards the center, you want less, and when you're towards the edge, you want more. All right? This is fish everywhere. I'm tapping it up and down. And we're going to make the center of her light the most lit up, so this is going to be both sides then. And I can't fan her tail over her, and I can't do her hair because of the layering of objects in the painting. So one of the things is you're just trying to decide what order do I paint things. Well, to do her hair, her body and this part of the tail has to be in. And to do the tail, her hair and her body have to be in. Because the tail is the layered over the most.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even actually intend to make her a lesson, but then I asked everybody if they wanted her as a lesson, and they were like, we really want her as a lesson. So I was like, okay, she's going to be a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not think she would be as popularly requested as a lesson as she was. So I did all kinds of like crazy nonsense on her, like the sparkles and all that. So now here I am. Again, same thing. This I do a little more solid because it's a smaller little piece. Now, take my magenta and my red together and get some of my white involved. I don't want it loosely mixed. And I'm going to take that lighter color and I'm going to focus it in the center of her fin here. See how we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Little dots up and down. We got this. Little dots up and down. Little dots up and down. You're good. You're good. You can do it. Little dots up and down. Your brush just touches and releases. Little touch and release. Touch and release.
Makes like a scale thing.
And it dances around. It surprises the canvas. Sometimes the artist. It's okay to take little reflections out, but you want to focus them inward, right? And this is why the pre-paint of the tail is important, so that anything that shows through doesn't show to blue canvas.
Gotcha.
That's why we go through that trouble, to make sure that our finished result is super duper, like, rich and colorful.
Mm.
Get your brush wet if you're having a little trouble with the top tap and dot. We're going to do one more value after this. And the reason that we're kind of going fast is that in this step, we have more values than this, is that we like to kind of work it a little wet into wet so it blends.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason we're not breaking this up into separate steps is you want to work quickly. If you can get a little blending on your tail as you go, that is not a bad thing. So cad red, magenta, and white. Right down the center. Little tap and go. Just getting the center of the little fin to have a highlight. Little dashes. That's a little practice to figure out your dashes. Sometimes you'll want to make big intense dashes, and you have to learn how to make little dashes. Little dashes are nice.
Where do you come up with these ideas from?
So so there's a couple places to come up with ideas. Just stuff I'm seeing in the world. Same places that you guys get them. But a lot of times I'm up late and I thought of something and I write down little notes and then I sketch it out digitally. And then I see if they turn into paintings okay. And then, it goes. But stuff like the painted bird collaboration I'm doing with my mom on August 6th, that literally was, I should collaborate with my mom and what would be fun. And then I was like, what'd be fun is fat little birds. And then calling her up and like, fat little birds. And then we're like, what fat little birds do you like? And then we say, well, we don't want to have to do anything tropical yet. So let's do something that's sort of wild and round. And then we went and researched it and I end up with the goldfinch and the cardinal and the hummingbird. But the only one I went into the collaboration really wanting to do was the hummingbird. I'm just continuing to light this. Right? That's the only one I actually had in my eye. I went and looked at a bunch of little pictures of round birds, and the goldfinch just stood out to me. He's just a superstar. Here on the lower tail, I'm going to do smaller, little tinier strokes on just the toe of my brush because the scales would be smaller. There we go. Look at that. That's not a bad little mermaid tail, is she?
No.
No, she is not. Already, she's fabulous. But let's take a picture. And then we'll do the fancy little follow-up bits with the yellow. Oh, it's so good. Now, if you want to add the pizzazz, this is what I used for the study. I'm not going to do it in this because, again, it's super fugitive and it's not easy to find. But if you run into it and you think you want to do it, this is what I used. And I do think this is a very good product. I like their inks better than the other inks.
Okay.
Oh, so many people joining Emoji Club. Thank you.
No, it's wonderful.
So many stars, so many emoji clubs. I appreciate that. Isn't she looking good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to rinse out and we're going to change our water because look how dirty our water has gotten. Ick. And there goes our towel. Here comes clean water. One of the first things you can do to keep your stuff vibrant is that clean water. And I'm going to come over here into my pink. And I'm going to add some of my yellow. And I'm trying to get a little orange going here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll come in and tap that out. Maybe even a little more. Or,
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go over here maybe a little more. It's hard to find the color sometimes that you want exactly. You have to kind of test your way through.
Gotta find
what I'm looking for is something that's a little orange gold. There we go. See? You can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a little glow in the scale. I like the little glow in the scale. Sometimes on fish they have a little bit of gold glow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here to the magenta, into my cad yellow, getting to that orange. You need white to lighten it. You got it. Now you'll notice I take some of the scales that are in this color in, and then some of them come out a little bit, maybe a couple places. And that's because you'll find on fish or mermaids, whatever you're studying, that there's a little bit of variety.
There is, really. There's almost a rainbow quality to the scales.
Now the last little sparkles on the fin and the hair and everything we do last because that's a little impact effect that comes later. I get that. Now I'm going to take a little of my white over to my yellow, get some pure yellow. I'm going to make a very light yellow. On the toe of my brush. See the little glitter gold?
Mm-hmm.
Just an extra little glitter. More on the toe, strokes are smaller. Still towards that center. When I come in with the white later, oh, it's going to be so glittery. I don't need to be as solid with the yellow as other colors. It's just a little pop of color. I'm going to take a few in to the white area that I have the light pink, and then that way when I come in with the white reflections, there's a bit of a visual blend. Mermaid tails. A good mermaid tail should take some effort and some love. They're fun to paint. All right, we're good. Let's call that a step. Come back. We got to do some hair.
All right.
Hair. Who's got hair over there?
I think
you have
we went
hair
so fast.
over there. I have new mermaid hair. See the back of the hair?
There we go.
The purples. I don't know if you guys can see them. It goes purple and pink in the back. Super excited about it. All right. How much glazing medium do you need to mix with your palette? So I find, Shelly asked that earlier in the day. I find that you, as much as it takes to control the drying time of your paint, sometimes I load the glazing medium in my brush first before I even go and get paint. I almost load it like what people used to call floating medium, and then on other times I use just a little bit to just if I feel like my brush is dragging. So it's really about what is right for you and what is working totally for you. The hair is so many colors. And in this particular case, I'm going to take my secret weapon, which is my fluid acrylic. This is titanium white by golden fluid acrylic. An alternative you could use is bottle craft paint, or you could put out some fresh white paint and thin it. This is nice because it's super pigmented and is already kind of pre-thinned, so that's why I like it. I'm going to take my pink and a little of my purple. I'm going to mix them together, and I'm going to grab some of this white. Okay if it's a little loosely mixed. And come here. And in the front, I'm going to go on the toe, and I'm going to flick down a little bang. Start to curve out a little bit of hair. And her hair really kind of comes in. It does a lot, man. There's a lot happening in the hair. I find with the flow of the hair, it's just, you got to go with it. I want to make sure that I respect Luna's wishes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing your mermaid nude. I don't at all. I just have Facebook problems. And that's really all it is. I can come here and blow out some this way. So the trick a lot of times is moisture on your brush, pressure load, and being able to kind of flow out little curves. This is, I could have called this a hair class because we really got a lot of hair things going on.
Yeah, you really do, don't you?
Mm-hmm. In some way, you can't get it wrong, though. I'll pick up slightly different mixes of color, and you'll see me try to blow like little folds of hair. The hair kind of builds up in layers and wefts. Get a little water. We're here for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We're here today, gone tomorrow. No, we're always here. I'm here probably too much. Probably. You're far too much. I love to just play with the flow. You can see what I mean. If this was just not working for you, same thing other side. She's just all hair. No one's going to be like, I don't like how much hair your mermaid has. It's too much hair. Too much hair. Too much. They're not going to say that.
I like all the hair.
Yeah, everyone's going to always like all the hair. Now, up here at the top, at the crown, I tend to kind of come up and, like, I go big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Texas, they used to have a saying, the higher the hair, the closer to God. This mermaid, she is so divine. They may still have that saying.
They may.
I said used to, and I didn't really check the currency of that statement. And see, I'm just trying to blow big hair all around. You could probably do a bigger round brush to get this done faster, but I find that in this space, you get a little more control. Now, I think sometimes it's fun to curl some hair. So come on the toe and bring that around. Whatever you want to play with. It's really up to you. Just blow it along. Just blending along. You need to get more purple back into the mix. Pretty easy to do. The hair's several layers, about 3 layers. Just making sure I've got nice coverage. Her hair is full. We got a lot going on there. It's very flowy and mermaidy hair. As we build up layers, it builds up textures and different levels of flow. This is Ready Level 1 flow. Ready Painter Level 1. Layer 1. Almost there. All right, so here we go. We're going to come around here.
You're gonna
Again,
get
top of the hair. I like to come through here too. So we've got a nice little fringe going. Nice little fringe, but we've got to get another little. There's a bit of the B-52s happening here. That's a bit of a throwback reference, but you know what I'm saying. At the Love Shack.
Well,
all right.
I think she's probably hanging with the rock lobster myself.
I know she's hanging with the rock lobster. I'm sure of it. Advocating for lobster rights. Now, what's nice is we're going to put some hair coming back here behind. My trick here is to very carefully paint right now, as I can, around her face and neck. Right, so that when I do come flow some hair in front, which we will, it has a nice, smooth, like, back finish. That's how we get that. And then, like, here, where I'm going to want to come and have a little bit come behind her. It's a good time to put it in, or at least start it. And again, we're going to be coming over the top, so not to worry, right? Luna was so worried the first time I did it. Oh. So see, we're getting some nice little parts there. I do like to leave a little of the cleavage defined. But we don't want to give our mermaid an OnlyFans account.
No.
I'm sorry, that was probably a joke. Turn in later for the OnlyFans mermaid version.
You know, it's a great big world out there. The ocean is deep and wide.
Deep and wide.
So many mer cultures to explore.
So many. All right. All right. That is the beginning of a mermaid hair. If anybody does this at their hairdresser, like if anybody takes this to their hairdresser and successfully gets this hair color, you have to share a picture with me in group. Okay. So John's going to take a picture and heat my coffee and jump on his head and do those things that needs to be done. All those things. And I'm going to Heather C says, has the Sherpa done any ostrich or emu tutorials? No. I don't think I have. I have not done an ostrich or emu. We're doing all the 6 birds, but I'm doing an American goldfinch, a cardinal, and oh, the shoebill. Yeah, I told my mom we have to do at least one exotic collab so that I can do the shoebill. Fataba. Futaba? I don't know. So no, but I should. I should. All right. Oh, some coffee. The chicken was in last year's Acrylic April. Well, technically, okay. So the chicken was in the year before that. Last year's Acrylic. Did I do it? I think I just did the phoenix and then there was a baby chick, but no proper chicken. And then there was a phoenix everybody called Fire Chicken.
And then you did angry roosters.
So many angry roosters have happened along the way, haven't they?
There have been.
All right. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go kind of more into where the yellow is with my magenta. Get into some of these more interesting kind of colors there. And I'm going to begin to dimension out her little hair with different kind of colors and values. So I follow along previous areas, and I will change the mix on my brush quite a lot. And I fill out. Sometimes a little more yellow. And I may move a little yellow color down to where I'm painting just so I have more of it to kind of vary out. Right? I won't vary it out. Sometimes I want a little more to vary out. So let's bring a little bit of yellow down here just so I have some options. Right? Because I can go right into that. So play.
Ooh.
That all means play, play, play. Bring some flow down here, so I'm just layering the flow. Kind of an organic thing. Sometimes I'll put a little more pure magenta in to deepen it. I like her.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an area where, I want to have a little shadow, just come back with a little purple and put some in. So say create some real sunset drama. Rinse out often so that your paint doesn't get away from you and muddy out. Get some pink in that. Let go, I just change up that color. Guy Tang would love this hair. Guy Tang would be like, good job. You did so amazing. I can see you were inspired by me. He was live recently and saying that, that he's kind of sometimes gets picked on and bullied by like other people in the hair industry. And I want to say, if I see you bullying Guy Tang, you're going to be tangling with me.
Ah.
You're going to tangle with the alter ego of the Art Sherpa. Kind of like the Hulk. You won't like me when I'm angry. Oh my goodness, that's really funny. Come in sometimes with some lighter colors. You can see I'm bringing some white into it. If the paint is still white, I can bring white into it and create little highlights. Just be playful. I'm going to curl a little hair in here. And maybe I'll actually curl it down like this. And then I'm going to come up like that, grab some pink. I'm sort of twisting it right there. I like to do that. You just find out you just can't go wrong with it. You go and you play and you sweep and you go, and there's just more layers, and the hair just flows. Please smush the reference photo in there.
Okay, I can do that.
Just so you can see. But again, remember, I finished her with this crazy product, right? And that isn't something that, I mean, we're going to do something pretty, but we're not going to go there because it's hard for you guys to get that product. If you can find it, if you have a local art store, absolutely, I highly recommend it, especially in the neons and in those inks. But I also recognize a lot of places are closing back up. There's a lot of stuff happening. And I'm not here to create more headaches in everybody's already challenging, problematic life.
Everybody's on a journey.
Everybody's on a journey.
Some of us don't know where we're going. Some of us don't care. Not all those who wander are lost.
Ooh, you feel wise now, don't you?
No, I just remembered that quote from someplace.
The internet?
I think it was Tolkien, but I'm not going to go throw it
From
around.
someplace.
From someplace.
The internet.
The intertubes told me it.
It came up in a quiz I took on my personality.
Do you wonder a lot? Do you like trees?
You're a sycamore. Strong inside, but irritated and annoying people. Like, you ever read these things? You're strong inside. You seem like you're tough, but are a marshmallow inside. You don't like irritating people. Sometimes I read these quizzes. And I'm like, what? I'm not saying I don't take them. Please, I'm not above taking them. I'm just saying sometimes I wonder at the answer.
My meme must be James Winfield saying, "Say what again?"
Say what again? Just adding a little bit of gold to that twist just to give it a little more fire. And sometimes it's nice to come in and give things a little more fire. I realize I just went a little Beavis and Butthead there.
That's okay.
That did not come. You know, I thought that was going to be really good on the replay because the Max was really good on the replay.
Oh, no.
But I have to say that Beavis and Butthead did not hold up in my memory. Ren and Stimpy did.
But
Beavis and Butthead did not.
it ranks up there with like Cannonball Run or
No.
Smokey and the like products of their time that shouldn't be watched after.
Yeah, they're going to be in those ads, you know, like commercials that were canceled for good reason. Those are fun compilations. If you want to wonder, you know, have we grown? Have we gotten any better as a species? Man, we're just a hot mess. Watch commercials that we can't air anymore because they're politically incorrect, and you'll be like, yeah, we've grown a lot. We're doing much better. We really suck. Like, but from 1980, we really suck.
Man, there's some rough ones.
We need to be nicer.
To ourselves.
To ourselves and to each other.
That's what I mean. To the other humans on the planet. Be kind.
Be kind. Be kind to people in medicine.
Can you use gel pens on top of watercolors?
Yes. Gel pens on top of watercolors, yes. Oh, look, we got half of her head. Woo! Oh, we're doing good.
She's like, this is my photogenic side.
I'm just, you know, what can you do? I'm taking a little white through and just doing a little light pink. Give a little personality to the hair. Fun to do. All right, other side. I'm not even going to break it into 2 steps because honestly, it's the same thing over here. So this is a really long step.
It's a long...
Involved step that matters. You know, sometimes you just got to go with it. Getting pink. I'm just using the same run of colors. Same brush. I haven't gotten into any specialty tools, guys. I didn't want to do that to you because I knew we'd have a lot of mermaid painters. So we're simplifying a little bit. for our mermaid painters, because it's been a minute since I've done a mermaid under 3 hoots.
It has been a minute.
I've done mermaids, but they're 3 hoot. Some of them are 4 hoot mermaids. Come in with like a darker color. So with hair, if you can come in and if you can follow the flow of your brush strokes, you can find interesting little locks of hair, and you can build up those layers where it just becomes more layery and more layery and more layery.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can even come back with some purple in here and just make sure that this is a little bit got some dark purple. Give her a little routage. As Guy Tang would say, a little routage. Isn't that fun how we can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Little personality in the purple. And come into the pink. Give her a little bit of the Rachel from 1990.
Oh, yeah.
Three, you got that. Maybe more of you got that. Just pull in some wonderful highlights. Elizabeth over on Facebook says that I have the vibe. I love the colors. And weirdly, I heard that in He-Man. Because I just watched the new reboot. I have the vibe. I have the colors. Wait, no, that's Transformers. Sorry, never mind.
It is true. It is the original Transformer.
They kind of all stole from each other. Have you noticed that?
The original Transformers, the movie from '86?
No, the He-Man and everybody kind of, they all stole from each other a lot.
They were all
also
earlier.
Also, the new He-Man reboot is really interesting. It really made me question my sense of reality. And they made Orko a sympathetic character? What?
So what's happening here?
That Orko is a sympathetic character? Or in my hair?
Orko. They were,
Like, basically, I've come away with that Orko had abusive parents. Be nice to your children so they are not magic users in another dimension not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness counts. There we go. The sea remembers. So does Mermaid. Oh, so good. Gonna come along here. Thank you, Lisby. I appreciate that so much. That's very kind. Jennifer Bowman says that she's seen mermaid hair in this color, and Lula Hall's like, I love the new He-Man.
There's a lot of He-Man watchers.
Yeah, no, it pulled me in. I stayed up. I ended up losing sleep. I just got sucked in because it ended up way more complicated and deep. Like the characters had levels and issues, and oh my goodness, it was just a lot. And also, Orko backstory. And I'm thinking that there was something between Man-at-Arms and Evelyn. And I love how Evelyn's like, no, I need myself. I don't. A lot of. It was interesting. Sucked in. Anyways, if you like cartoons as an adult and you watch them, you could give that one a go.
There seems to be a lot of it. And given the reaction here from He-Man, what I'll say is if you want to see a really great cartoon movie you may have missed originally, the original Transformers, the movie. 86. You have to go back because it's canon. It's real. I mean, and it's good. They had really good voice actors, fully developed musical score, all for the movie. Really well put together. Highly recommend.
It was really good. We're just flowing these lines, layering the colors, and seeing what develops. Your hair may flow a little different than mine, and that's okay.
Leonard Nimoy, Orson Welles,
I
Judd
know, it was good,
Nelson.
right? This too had some
Right.
really good casting. He kind of didn't make it. Okay, and not safe for work at all. The Harley Quinn reboot.
Oh, yes and no. It is not
It
safe
is
for work.
both. It's definitely not safe for work,
No,
and not
or-
to be watched with kids in any way. Like
No.
Rick and Morty,
Not
not
a
watched
cartoon.
with kids.
It's not a kid's cartoon.
Don't let your kids watch Rick and Morty. But if you're grown up and you like even John, whom you know hates DC, you know how much he
Mhm.
hates DC.
I love to
liked
mock
this.
him.
He did. He liked it. Bane was my favorite character in the whole thing. In the pit, we find ourselves. Just so good. Wait, I'm going to keep highlighting this hair. Why am I obsessed with this curl? I don't know.
The curl.
Sometimes I just get into the twist of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Harley Quinn reboot, real good. Not safe for work. Just I can't really understate that enough. Overstate it. Poor kids. Ashley Welch loves some Rick and Morty. Yeah, John runs around the house going, Pickle Rick. I don't. But again, not for kids.
There's an excellent Pickle Rick trap remix.
Is there?
Yes.
You should find that Pickle Rick trap remix and put it in the chat on YouTube. I dare you.
I think I can find
Who
that.
wants John to find the Pickle Rick
I don't know.
trap
We'll see.
remix?
I have to. I'm not sure which one. I think it's the one from this one.
Alternating between the Quinn magenta and the yellow and the purple, flowing these little lines out, exaggerating what I can. Yeah, I am also, Lula, excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife. We teach art here and talk about TV. Because you know, what else? What else in life is there? You guys have all got to come to the collab on August 6th with my mom. We'll repaint all day from 1 to 5:30, I think is what it is. All-day painting day. Painting marathon. 6 paintings, 1 day. Get some yellow into this. Get some fire. There we go. Now I found, sometimes you got to chase a tendril of hair for a minute. It just is like that. So if you're chasing a tendril of hair, you just saw me just chase and chase and chase a tendril of hair. It happens. Sometimes hair has to be chased. What are you going to do? You just chase it and you go. All right. How do I decide which color goes where, says Cassie over on Facebook. So there's a couple of decisions that help inform me. When I look at the flow of the lock, if everything is the same value, that's how light or dark it is, I know that I need to pick an area and run and highlight it. I have kind of a fluid motion through this set of colors, but because with the exception of purple, where I have to be careful, these are all harmonies. So I can just vary through the pink and yellow and not end up into too much trouble. When I get the purple in, I have to be careful because that can create a complement which can gray the color. And then like I'll go here and I'll say I've got this pink here, it's a little bit darker, and I recognize that maybe I can come along that underside of that curl and pull it into this part of the hair. But if I do that, I got to come back and highlight it so that there's motion. So it's just about observing what's there and trusting that artistic instinct. And the reason I'm explaining it this way is you may flow your hair a little differently than I am. on your canvas. You may have chosen to brush the strokes, and it's a very natural thing to do. Well, where your hair may have different little flow outs and curls, right? Because you'll have an inner hair in your head that you're painting. You don't know that you do, but you do. And I'm just trying to explain that that's what's probably going to happen. Now, I'll get white into my purple here so that if I bring this purple into this little curl out, right, which I'm going to do, I don't lose control over what's happening. Get a little white into it. I think we're getting close. We're getting close, guys. We have pretty good hair. All right. I am loving that. Feels lovely. Super happy. Feels like it's cheerful.
It's making its way.
It's making its way. All right. Now we do want to dry before the next step. And I not drink my coffee when you reheat it. I did it again. Oops. I did it again.
Oops. Okay, gotta dry that out. So, yep, if you haven't noticed, we have an eclectic taste in pop culture, which means we like weird stuff, and we like talking to you guys about that stuff. So, thank you for indulging us in our weird talks. Is there a traceable for birds before class? Yes, Kim, there are traceables generally before class, and they should be available for download off the main page.
Yes, I will have mine up very soon. My mom is finishing up her bird paintings as we speak. She'll have her research burbs. She'll have her burbs, and I'll have my burbs. My burbs will probably be early.
Because you're an early burb.
I'm an early burb. And I'm even teaching her to make Facebook events so you can find them in 2 locations. Make an event so people can find you and put it in your group, and then they can know.
The only thing you like more than events are polls.
I love a poll. Polls are so good. Let's take a picture of this. It's a step.
Okay, we'll take a picture. I'll give you a.
If anyone does this hair, not my hair. We can show them. If you do my hair too, it's just blonde with rainbow at the tips. But if you do this hair, you've got to show me.
I'm gonna make sure that
you got to show me, and I'm sure it's extensions.
Okay.
Jesse over on Facebook says, "Hi everyone, sipping my coffee and watching. Sipping my coffee and watching as soon as John reheats my coffee, which is now skinning on top." You can't use the hairdryer and the microwave at the same time. It shorts the art studio and really the house, the whole house. So again, a little different. The finishing thing that I would say is different. I went over the hair with this like extra little neon pink when I was messing around designing this. And so that's a thing that you can do. It's the same technique. You would just do it. I'll tell you the step when you would add it before you do the white lining. So if you decide to do that, you can, but it's optional, and I really wanted it to be optional for this painting, just because I didn't want people to feel like they couldn't do it because they didn't have a hard-to-find art material. I love to introduce you guys to art materials, but I don't want to make your lives miserable. It's not fun. Take a breath. Okay, oh, I know what. Here, let's do this. I don't know what's happening in your life, whatever it is that, you need to have more of, more creativity, more inspiration. Let's breathe it in. And let's breathe out everything that's annoyed us this week. Goes away. Breathe in everything you're wanting in your life right now. Breathe away all the stuff that's irking you. I like to breathe it far away too. Like so far. It goes so far away from me.
Blow away.
I'll show you a little of the neon color, Linda. I will. But I do think it would just alienate a lot of people. It's just an ink that you brush out. I'll show you guys a little bit. Okay. Now we have to do the tail.
Pin the tail on the mermaid.
Pin the tail on the mermaid. And I'm going to use a small bright. I'm going to use a little bright. As soon as I can find a little bright. I'm looking around going, I have so many brights. I need a little bright.
They're just big brights.
I'll use this little bright. It's a pretty good little bright.
What is a bright?
A bright is a square brush. It's a square brush. And so I need to paint this tail, and I need it to be kind of transparent and also kind of dry brush, and I want it to feather out. So bright is a nice way of doing that. I'm going to go ahead and load a little of the glazing medium into my brush, and we're going to get a little bit of white on there. We could also do the fluid white. It would be fine. And I'm going to come along the base of the tail, curve out, and then brush up. And you'll notice that I get a very transparent effect. Isn't that nice? Little white in the glazy medium. You could dry brush this as well. All right, that would be just, or just use a lot of water in your and let it dry. But if I want to dry brush it, I just take the white and come up. So see, you can get kind of a dry brush approximation. This is just where your brush doesn't have a lot of water in it, and you let the paint kind of skip over the top. I really need to go over the tail. I like the layering of the two things in relationship to each other, so I want to do that again. Down here at the base, it's shorter, little short strokes. And then over here, again, little short strokes. Work that there. Either way you want to do it. That's a weird thing to see in chat. Hands Jennifer a plunger. Like, what? Need more context. So you see, I'm just trying to keep it very light and transparent. We want to see some of what's behind, right? And then come here with some yellow. A little pink. Little colors, right? Maybe a little of the magenta. Kind of not dissimilar to what we had going on with the hair. This will work for betta fish and goldfish too. You're like, man, I love this technique. Gives me such an interesting little fin. Come back into the white. Back into the yellow maybe. Playing with it. Pink is also fun. Back into the white. Back into our yellow. You can see that there's just very edged and tipped, right? Some little white there. We're just making lots of little fins. Like the hair.
Now
the journey.
Mini books of these will be available
7 to 10 days after the show.
7 to 10 days. There you go.
There's a bunch of new ones that you should check. A bunch of them just released. So you want to see if your favorite lesson is on a mini book already. So that's the tail. We're going to call that a step, and I will show you how to finish the tail when we come back.
Okay.
Because you got to know how to finish the tail. Coney says, is there a traceable before the mini book? There is, and I'm sorry that it was hard to find. Hopefully my team can drop the link to the traceable here. And if not, I will make sure there's a link in the comments on both streams after the show. I get that sometimes the user interface makes these things a little hard to find, or they don't tag correctly, or whatever's happened with them. It doesn't really matter. If ever you have trouble finding something and you've looked, I know what that's like. You just write us, support@artsherpa.com, and we will help you find a link, right? I get it that you guys go out there and you're like, I did look everywhere and I cannot see it. And I'm like, I understand. All right. So I am going to come here and I'm going to take my #1 monogram liner and come to the outside. It's a very fine line outside. I'm using fluid paint just so it flows off my brush. And I'm going to take this little wiggle. Can you see my little wiggle?
Let me go over there.
My little wiggle line.
Yeah.
This is how we just paint a little transparent flowing fin. Come along on the edge. Isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a very delicate effect. Very delicate effect. And you can come through the tail and exaggerate some of the veining. There you go. And that just gives you a very delicate, perfect little tail.
Mm-hmm.
That is just super nice. All right, now I'm going to switch to an interesting tool. You can use the same brush. I'm going to just use this to make my life easy. This is a dotting tool. You could use a toothpick. You could use the back of a brush. You can use the stuff you use for nails. This is an Art Sherpa dotting tool. It comes with the Galaxy set. And we're going to take it. I'm going to dip it in my paint. And I'm going to dot the tail.
Ah.
What we're doing is we're creating a little highlight. Little reflections coming up. Okay, little sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
Give her a little sparkle. She's amazing. She needs to sparkle it up.
What's that gizmo you're using?
The one I.
Did you just explain that to us?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Okay. I was
Completely.
reading chat, so I just want to make sure.
Just,
It was like I was noticing you're making perfect little dots there. Have you explained to everybody what that is? But I haven't been paying attention because I've been over here reading chat.
we even gave some alternate tools.
Okay.
Cinnamon, could you try and paint a coyote? I absolutely could. Coyotes are so cute.
So you guys
As
know.
long as they have not harmed your pet, and they're less cute. But it's just because I lived in California, so I know that.
I'm gonna
Coyotes are very awesome.
I got a secret.
Mm.
I don't always listen to you.
I know that. I've been married to you
It's
for
a
a minute.
secret. Shh.
And I imagine that's some of your survival strategy. Try not to resent your survival strategy. Oh, Liz says had one of these and had no idea what it was for. Oh yeah, it'll do like all kinds of dots and it's just wonderful. I like it because as you touch, you'll get bigger and smaller dots that gives you nice variety. Sometimes on a brush, it can get a little tedious to do this, and this is a little more forgiving. Now I'm going to put a very specific dot right there. I think I'm going to put another little specific dot right here. These are going to be stars in a little bit. Let's put one up there. Okay. So when I come back, I will make those big dots into sparkly stars. Just
Okay.
so you know why they're there.
When you come
They're
back.
sparkly stars. Maybe one right here. Make sure I can really see that one. That's a sparkly star. Big dot, sparkly star. Sparkly star.
Mm-hmm.
Sparkly star. But she needs sparkly stars, right?
You do. Sparkle.
Sparkle. Sparkles.
I feel like when you say sparkle, you must have jazz hands. Sparkle. So you can just, can't you just through the power of radio, feel the
We're going to
spark.
come here and put some stars in her hair. Why did we do that? I don't know, because initially I thought that would be so cool if she had stars in her hair. We did it, and now you're doing it.
Because who doesn't want stars in their hair?
Doesn't want stars in their hair. I'm not solid starring the hair. It's like in places. Maybe it's water drop. Hard to say. I just really liked it, and I did it.
It's a sprinkling of stars.
And now you're doing it too. Anytime I do something, you guys got to know, like sometimes I get to painting or designing for y'all in my studio. And, I'm just making myself happy.
Mm-hmm.
I do try to always listen to you and understand what you want to paint. But there is, like, sometimes I just make myself happy. And so I'll make weird decisions that are about that you may not be into. And I am never offended if you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Today I did my first TikTok live, John.
I know.
Don't download the app. I'm not saying it's a good app to have on your phone.
If you're already there.
But if you were already there and they already have all your data, you can follow me and sometimes cool stuff will happen.
We'll probably share some of that stuff on other platforms.
Well, but the lives, they're just kind of there. So
Yeah.
I did a live. It was just a weird, John wasn't even home, didn't know I was going to do it. I just got my phone attached to the thing. And so I did one. You can see the end result painting. I did an experimental painting of something I saw online that I was like, oh, I want to test that technique. So I did it over on TikTok. And then it turned into a short video, which was very exciting to me. But the one over there, it probably will be a lesson. It'll be an idea of something that will be a lesson later. There's like probably 3 more paintings in that line before it becomes a lesson for you guys. One, because it was inspired by something, and I can't exactly pinpoint its origin. I think it was Shutterstock, but since I'm no longer sure, we're just going to let it go.
I see.
And little stars. I like the little stars. They could be like bubbles. They could be like all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
And I do try to create little clumps or little arrangements of them in groupings. It's nice to put things in groupings. So this is a dotting tool. They have them for nails and they have them for art supplies. And you can get them. This comes in my Galaxy set. So if you want the splatter brush and the other splatter brush and a liner brush and a dotting tool, while those are available for sale, you can get that. Or you can buy a dotting tool for like $1.99 on Amazon. And you'll have too many dotting tools. Too many. Because you'll get so many dotting tools for that amount of money. You'll be like, I didn't want this many dotting tools. What's cool is some of them come in like a variety of sizes. So you can get these like really big dots, and that's so you can do like those dot paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. If that's what you want.
You can dot away.
You can dot if you want to. I'm going to stop now. For a couple of reasons. Now, I want some stars up in the hair too.
So
Well, I remember everywhere I planned my stars, but this is what I'm doing, so.
I really like the way that this makes those dots. So what's that thing called you're using? Have you told them about this tool?
Dotting tool. It's a dotting tool.
Have you told them about it yet?
No.
Okay, you should.
It's a dotting tool.
Did you make that one? Is that one yours?
I made this one. Oh, Jenny Baker's this morning from Australia.
Good morning.
And she says, loves anything to do with, I love it when we're on so late that Australia's like,
I'm teasing you. You don't have to tell anybody about it. I'm just giving you
I have, it's now we're done with this step and we're going to dry the painting.
We are. That means I'm going to mute her.
Okay.
So she's gonna dry the stars, and then we'll take a photo, and then she'll show you how she makes the star, stuff on the end to make them turn them from your average dot into a sparkly dot. Because sparkles. Who doesn't like sparkles? I enjoy the sparkles. The sparkles is part of my favorite part of the painting. That and the little bugs, when she does bugs or butterflies or little tiny birds in the background. I like those. Those three things: birds, bugs, and stars in the background. So we'll be doing those. Probably should be telling you something somewhat useful information, like all the information hidden down in the links in the description below, depending on the various platforms you are, and the platforms that you may find yourself are on. YouTube, there's that one. Facebook, where they're live. Roku, if you have a Roku device and you go out and do a search for the Art Sherpa channel, you'll find us, and our entire library is available out there, and it's for free. You can download it and have access to that. Some of our team's been migrating that over there, and that's so that you guys have access to the content without a platform or advertiser being in the way of you. So you can go over there and see those all run directly from our Roku channel.
Roku channel.
The Roku. We have one of those.
Take a picture and we'll finish her.
Okay.
You guys love this? Has this been fun or what? She's been longer than I expected, but fun. She's a multi-step. She's definitely a two-hooter, but we're nearly at the end. I think it's because some of the things in her process are a little more time involved, and you should give yourself time to enjoy it. Things like hair and dotting, they can take you away. All right, now here's the trick. I am going to dot. I'm going to make lines to the strength of my stroke.
Okay.
And how you make the little star is I'll come here. Make a long line down. And make a long line vertically.
Oops.
And then if you want, you can do little other sparkles. It's twinkling.
Yeah.
Twinkling stars. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Why the mermaid? There you are.
Violate our music rights so that we get demonetized for singing a song.
YouTube has never thought I sung well enough to. I have never had a copyright claim for anything I've sung, even from the most litigious companies in the world. They all think I do it so badly, there's no point.
The robot doesn't think we're actually singing.
You know what's so funny is my friend Todd Graham got demonetized for saying a poem of a lyric it recognized as a song. Doesn't recognize me when I'm actually singing.
Maybe we have to do more than 15 seconds of it.
There could be. Sometimes I think those things are like internet rumors, but that could be true.
Something that we just don't run into here.
Well, because let's be honest, I can't remember more than 15 seconds of it. I don't have a clever plan here. I just grew up where we didn't sing a lot of songs. It's really the truth. I had a piano teacher ask my mom if I could sing more than 15 seconds of any song. I couldn't.
That's okay. You can paint. You have other things that you do.
Yeah, it didn't keep me up at night at all. One, I still sing. I don't care. And two, was not planning on going into a music career at that point. I was going to be a jockey and ride the Black Stallion. So who needs to sing? Oh, the disappointment of finding out that's not an actual career. But I so thought it was.
Marketing.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't like it, so I'll redo it. You go slower and more careful than me.
Me?
No, them.
Oh. All the sparkles. That's pretty cool.
It's sparkly.
It definitely has that
Has that sparkle feel?
That does. Sparkling.
Sparkling it does. Glitter it will. So the other day, Mom sent me like a promotion idea for the painted bird.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what she wrote, but it like made no sense. And I was like, what is this? And she's like, it's Yoda speak. And I'm like, no, it didn't. Yoda speak is not just any nonsense. It's specific nonsense.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, to have a daughter. So yeah, I'm very excited for the day we paint all day birds. Little birds.
All of them.
Little birds. August 6th, starting at 1. 6 little paintings, one day. Don't get your feathers ruffled.
Don't ruffle the feathers.
Don't ruffle the feathers. Ginger Cook and her daughter, me.
We're going to flock together.
It's fun to help them get like stuff going because like it's the events there and like, is this good? I'm like, comments are off. It's not visible.
Ah. But you know what? We're getting close to the final sparkle. It's the final countdown.
Sparkle. It's the final sparkle. If you're going to pun.
But we're not to it yet. We're counting down to the sparkle.
We are counting down to the sparkle. Getting them little sparkles in. Get your sparkles on. Get your glitter on. Everybody needs a little glitter in their life. Everybody needs, so a lot of you guys are suggesting doing glitter at this stage. I highly recommend it. I really like Holbein's Chrome Up Shine from a Pearl.
Can I make a suggestion? Try substituting mica powder for glitter. It's better for the environment, safer for you, and makes a better shimmer.
Good
relatively
point.
speaking.
You could just add that to a polymer medium.
And it binds it. So glitter will mix into your acrylic just fine and bind in there.
If it's got a weird dye on it, the dye can come loose in the acrylic.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that glitter really is it's a plastic shaving, and unless you fully plan to deal with it, it puts a lot of waste product out there in the world. And mica is just a bit more ecologically friendly. Well, it's a lot more ecologically friendly. It's dirt.
For all of you crafters who felt like glitter was the devil,
well, no,
turns
I mean,
out
it's
you
like,
were right.
Yeah, it's just it's glitter thing.
Go ahead and take the "I told you so" tour.
But I mean, glitter has its place. Like when you're going to put it in a clear coat, like automotive clear coat, those thick glitter places, it does have a purpose, but you're not losing the glitter into the environment that way.
I for sure lose glitter.
Yes.
John's glitter beard definitely did damage to the environment.
Luckily, we have a shop
for months. He had a piece of glitter in his nose that we couldn't get out for like 6 months. It was the sparkle booger. And it just lived there. That gave me so much joy. You think it was gone, and then there it was again. Sparkle booger.
Glitter. What are you going to do with that stuff? It just gets everywhere, and then you think you get rid of it. You don't. It's there, living in your beard.
In your nose.
It's like some birds that just took up a nest.
So we're coming to the last few glitters. You just do this till you're happy. You feel like you have a nice balance of sparkly sparkles. That's really all you've got to do. I'm kind of fast sparkling right now. You sparkle slow. Take your time. All right. There we go. There she is. First mermaid I've done in a long time.
Really nice.
That wasn't 3 hoops. I'm going to go ahead and use my white and pink maybe. I don't know. I'll put a little color in it because I don't want bright white, but I'm going to use this for a way to sign.
Have you ever done any pointillism with that?
With this brush or the dot?
That little dotty thing.
I have not, but it would work really well.
And pointillism.
I definitely would want to time lapse it or we would be there forever.
And
What is not a fast technique.
Why don't you explain what pointillism is?
Pointillism is where you put pure dots of color next to each other and the localized relationship of the color kind of vibrates and creates and mixes in your mind's eye, which is actually a true thing that works. And so when you look at it, they feel like they're shimmering, and Pointillist felt like they could capture the moment or the light by doing this. So it's like lots of little dots and lots of little values next to each other, and then they intermix in your eye too, so you get like all those secondary colors that way. It's very cool. I highly recommend searching it online. A lot of museums have beautiful Pointillist collections and virtual tours right now if you don't want to go to public, which I completely understand. How did you guys like it? Was it fun?
I loved it.
I think she's pretty. I think she's lovely. We freehanded her. You've got the traceable. Either way is fine. However you want to do her is fine. If you're going to share in groups, you got to have hair or glam shells. Any of those things.
Glam shells.
Thank you so much for being here today. I want you guys to take care of yourselves, be good to each other, be good to yourself, and I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.